As I have previously posted and shared and spoken, I was really surprised when I heard the interview with Janie, Daniel Martel's mother. And I was absolutely shocked because the woman I'm seeing in this particular picture doesn't really seem like the type of person that would say the types of things that she said. Meaning, she doesn't necessarily strike me as a type of person who would hate on two missing children, right? I mean, when I look at the face of Kathy Bowersox, yeah, her message is about Sebastian, her hatred towards a child who went missing. I, it aligns. Let me say it like that. But in her particular case, well, it didn't. And some of you have said she must have aged a lot. And dare I say, she aged very badly. And I know people who age wonderfully, meaning they look better than 20 years ago. And others turn like that. And it has to do, in my opinion, a lot with how you live your life, who you are inside, what your state of mind is. So when you are a very hateful person, it absolutely doesn't make you turn any, it's not going to be in your advantage. So some of the things that she said, I would like to go back to. But first, let me listen to Belinda. All right, so this part I find funny.
I had messages from somebody called Picto and a couple others that were Facebook
it's not that
messaging
funny
me.
because they're trying to get Daniel to come on the show, of course. And they're doing it in a way that they say, well, she's telling, God, why did I waste my time? You see, once I listen to something, I gotta get to it. But let me skip this one.
Very much, and they're sure that I would thank her too for being their grandmother. And I'd have to say it really struck a chord in me that it's really, really hard.
And you know what? This is exactly when you hear somebody's tearing up. And that is a big difference between somebody like Daniel pushing 4 years, but nothing is going on inside. It is an attempt to portray yourself as somebody who's grieving, but he isn't. She gets overwhelmed by her tears when she's talking about how it just blew her away to hear that woman, Janie, speak in such a hateful manner of her two beautiful grandchildren. Because at that moment, she realizes how these kids have suffered. She starts to understand what really went on inside of the house on that property. Probably Janie screaming and screaming about the kids in front of the kids, and Daniel eventually, well, she's gonna tell us now about the pictures.
Put into words.
It's okay.
I see Janie's pain. I believe her pain is real.
Her pain is self-inflicted. I believe, sure, Janie also her tears are real, but they are for her grandchildren, and there is fear that both of her sons might go to prison for a very long time. So, why can she not see her grandchildren? And why would her sons go to prison for 25 years? Well, because of you. Dare I say that. Chris Watts' mother hated his wife. Brian Laundrie's mother hated Gabby Petito. Chris Proudfoot's mother hated Sebastian. And Janie hated Jack and Lily. And what do those mama boys do? They want to please mommy. They don't want to go to jail. But they feel as long as mommy is pleased with me, the whole world is wrong. Mommy is always right. That is why people like Chris Watts, Brian Laundrie, Chris Proudfoot, and Daniel Martell not necessarily think that whatever they did was anything wrong. Mommy told me it's okay. I think I made mommy proud, right? I'm saying that because this, in my opinion, was all preventable. Had Janie been somewhat grandmotherly with Jack and Lily, and not a screaming old hag like she is, showing us she is, they would have found a better way to maybe get Jack and Lily to, you know, I don't know, you when you tell kids to be quiet, how do you do that? Do you just scream at them? Or what do you do? When your kids are not good in school, what do you do? Just complain and say, well, I guess they are possibly autistic? Or do you try to do homework with them? What do you do? What is your personal solution? So let me cover this real quick.
The world has been tipped over. I see that. I know that. I do not thank her. I'm sorry. I heard this woman actually complain about Lily and Jack. I heard this woman say that she didn't need pictures of them because they were living there. I heard this woman say that she doesn't know anything that goes on over in that trailer. She minds her own business. Well, I know CPS was investigating. I've been shown pictures of Jack with black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
There's pictures of him with marks on his chin.
Yeah.
CPS doesn't come because of learning disabilities.
Exactly.
That much I do know. So CPS was there for something else. So no, I do not thank Janie. I'm sorry, but I don't. Thank you.
All right.
With them because Malaya couldn't handle all three kids. And I'll tell you something else. For the last 2 years, I observed those kids in my backyard. And the only time that Malaya went out with those kids
twice. Those kids. There are these kids, my grandchildren, and then there are those kids.
is when she took Meadow out. And when she took Meadow out, that's all she would do was take her over to see the chickens. I have never seen I have never seen Malaya push those kids down on the swing or even watch them.
Push those kids down. That's what she said. I've never seen Malaya push those kids down. Who pushed them down? What happened that night, Janie? And if he had black eyes, well, who pushed him down? Did you push him down? Did you push Jack down? Did you push, did Daniel push him down? Something happened to him before that. So, abusing Jack, we can establish, has been most likely a part of the pattern here. And Malaya did not protect her children. We know that much. She was always on her phone, playing on her phone. That is the excuse Daniel has in his mind for doing what he did to these children. He is blaming Malaya. Had you managed to keep them quiet, I wouldn't have had to do what I did. That is the message he is sending out there. And while he is communicating, while he is talking to the general public, he is actually communicating to her. Because she just shuts everything off. She just says absolutely nothing. And the heat is on him. People also don't think Malaya is a violent person. The way that she comes off, well, some people claim, oh, maybe she had yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that she went into depression and hurt the children. There's absolutely nothing pointing towards Malaya, in my opinion. And especially since Janie's interview, more than ever, I am convinced it was them. Because she wouldn't have covered up for Malaya had Malaya done something to these children, especially with Malaya not speaking, right? Malaya just shutting herself off, Daniel taking all the heat. Do you really think Janie would be quiet? She would say immediately, I saw what happened. And Malaya did this. And she just told us, she never seen Malaya push these kids down. She never saw Malaya abuse Jack and Lily. We want to know what you saw Daniel do. And we also want to know what you may have done to them. Because all you can talk about. Oh, by the way, well, let me hear more of this, because now is the second time around where I'm going to get more and more into the details of what actually
go down the slide. I've never seen her out there playing with the kids. In the wintertime, I would go out.
Again, it's all Malaya's fault because she didn't spend any time with the kids. So whatever had been done, which is on her mind, because she knows exactly what took place that night. The same way that Katie Proudfoot talks about how much Sebastian had to eat and how much sugar intake he had that particular day. That is her excuse for over-medicating him. The fact that Malaya was very passive with the kids is her excuse for Daniel and herself.
Throw snowballs at them. Build snowmen.
Throw snowballs at them. She threw snowballs at them. This is aggressive language. Not I did a snowball fight with them. I played with them. No, she threw snowballs at them. So even if she had at one point, been not as bad as usually, there is still the aggressive attention towards these children there. She is telling us how she feels towards them. So she introduced pushing the children down and throwing something at them, which is, it was a snowball or snowballs, but this aggression she has towards them is to be noted.
With them, build a tall snowbank for them to go sledding in. All the grandchildren.
All the grandchildren. For them, she says first, but then she says all the grandchildren, because she didn't do anything for Jack and Lily, people. Maybe the other kids, the grandkids were over, her biological grandkids, and maybe they said, Grandma, snowball fight. They had a snowball fight. Maybe with them, she had a snowball fight. But when she thought about when it involved Jack and Lily, the language of throwing something at them enters her mind. So she didn't have playtime with these kids. When it came to throwing snowballs, in the case of Jack and Lily, it was at them because she hated them. She was probably playing with her biological grandchildren a little bit, here and there. I mean, even though in her own language the dog is the priority, which, it would be interesting to hear from the biological grandchildren how they view their grandmother. I wouldn't be surprised if they say, oh, grandma is scary. Even though she didn't hurt them, kids pick up on energies. And also, I would love to hear from the other grandchildren how they viewed Jack and Lily. I don't think they would have, it would be interesting to hear what they have to say. How were things in the house? And I believe these biological grandchildren of hers have gotten a real good insight into the ongoings there and who the grandmother really is.
And I would try to go coasting with them, but I have some medical problems. I couldn't really go coasting with them, but I would push them down the hill in the sleigh.
Push them down the hill. Not give them a push or push them down. Again, push them down. Enters her mind.
I would play snowballs with them. I'd build snowmans with them. I never seen Malaya ever do that with them.
So the bank, or that what she built so they can slide down, she just told us that was not for Jack and Lily. That was done for her other grandchildren, for her biological grandchildren.
When she was out watching them coast, she was pulling Meadow around in the sleigh. After Meadow was born, yes, Meadow got all the attention. I seen that with my own two eyes. Yes. Jack and Lily were sort of put on the back burner. Yes.
Yeah, I believe you. That's pretty reliable. So, for whatever reason, Malaya, again, I'm not accusing her of a crime, but she was neglectful. I believe that. And when she talks about Malaya had a mind of a child, yeah, I can see that too. That she, didn't really pay attention to Jack and Lily.
I've never seen when I would go in there after school, I would never see Malaya sit down and do their homework with them. I would never see Malaya read to them.
That is a given. That is a given. And nobody did homework with them. Because otherwise you would tell us now, Daniel did it, or you did it, but you didn't.
I would always read to them when I babysit them. Yes, I babysat Jack and Lily. Whenever they went.
Yes, okay, there we go. You did read to them. Got it. But, can you tell what she's saying here?
Somewhere, I would babysit them. And I had no problem with Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily would sit with me and watch TV. I would take Jack. He would hold him in my arms. He would pretend he was swimming. He would pretend he was playing airplane. Lily would be running around showing me her dolls. And, yes, I did more interaction with those children than Malaya did.
That doesn't give you a right to hurt them.
And as I was saying, if you have to call their mother to tell them that, yes, Daniel did do a lot for those kids. Yes, I will say that. And I will also say
I will say that.
only time that Jack and Lily and Meadow ever went to town is when Daniel was with them, because Malaya couldn't handle all three kids.
By the way,
for visits the first 6 months, 6 to 7 months that she was with Daniel and they were staying at Patty's. I was still dropping by to see the kids, and she was still talking with me. Once she moved down to his place, that's when I never saw the kids anymore. So it was almost 2 years. But we still communicated.
Somebody says, Laws, if you've heard Durwood on any of the YouTube channels, you'd know why CBC didn't air the whole thing. I didn't hear anything about that, and I would not pay any attention to anything that this individual is saying. And so I was very surprised to hear that CBC would actually air anything with that person. And obviously, they decided to only publish a very small portion because, I mean, they don't want to look stupid. No surprise here.
For their birthdays and that, I would send money or gifts to Patty's place for them, and she would always text a little thank you to me. That to take her to court to fight to see them, I just figured she needed time with her new family to get things situated. I didn't think I'd have to haul her to court. I don't know anybody that does that, to be honest. I know she has to do it because she's battling CPS right now. But it never once dawned on me to haul Malaya to court to see my grandkids. I assumed I would get to see them in the end.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know they were happy. And some of the pictures that I'd seen her post to note, they looked to be happy. So I thought, well, you might get to see them, but hey, they're living a good life. Well, I seem to have been very wrong on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, you know what? So, Belinda, give a second here. Kent, hold on. I'm going to go to Charmaine. Charmaine had some things that she wanted to say, and if it prompts anything else, Belinda, for you, because obviously it's hard to think sometimes, or think of other things that. So we'll go to Charmaine next, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Belinda. That's
And this is the one that I wanted you guys to see. Oh, yeah. So, okay. Belinda said she was very wrong, thinking that the children had a good life. And here's Daniel's answer. Oh, yeah. Did the kids live a good life with Cody? Daniel Martell, he is admitting with this that the kids had a horrible life. He has absolutely nothing to take away from the claim that Belinda didn't make it directly. She didn't say that my grandkids had a horrible. Well, she did by saying I was very wrong about that. She just doesn't say it as directly as probably I would say it. Oh yeah, did the kids live a good life with Cody? Daniel's comeback. His answer, so what do you have to complain about? With your son, they didn't have a good life either. He always talked about what a shitty life Malaya had before him, right? You know why he's doing that? Because that's giving him an excuse for how terrible of a partner he was and how terrible of a father figure he was to Jack and Lily. Meaning, you have no right to complain. I am not doing anything worse, or maybe I'm doing worse, but your life was not good with Cody. Your life was never good. That's what Daniel has been telling us. Malaya never had a good life. So don't look at me. Don't look at the shitty life that I've created and drag them into, because that's exactly what he did. He dragged them into a horrible, chaotic life. And Belinda said that the house was absolutely trashed. Absolutely, there were, and it had nothing to do with the police doing their work. There were recyclables all over the place. Allegedly, in my opinion, but that's what people do when they're spending money on the wrong thing. And then it's like, okay, do we let's take some, let's cash in some recyclables, and just we don't give a crap, so we just put it all in the kitchen. And it was a horrible life that these children were living, people. Absolutely horrible life. And as for the relationship with Cody, Cody left, and Cody just said, he just gave up completely on Malaya and the children, which of course is not a good thing. But that relationship had ended, and Daniel wouldn't let it end. And by the way, the good thing about this Janie interview, we don't hear from Logan anymore. Because Logan may be a little bit more clever than the rest of them. And maybe she is thinking, oh my God, how do I damage control? There's nothing for me to do anymore. There's nothing I can do. That's what I think is running through her mind right now. So the last thing that Logan wants is to look bad. And she is a little more self-aware maybe than Janie is, but not much. But you see this answer from Daniel, and this is a very impulsive one and a short circuit type of reaction. And he's admitting that Belinda is right. He's not saying, you are wrong. These children had a decent life with me. I did my best. No. He says to her, you have no space to talk because your son was not good for the children either.
Kind of exactly why I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that.
Don't pretend you didn't see that, woman. Don't pretend you didn't see what Daniel just said. But yeah, let's hear what Charmaine is about to say, because I find this interesting. And I know that some of you are interested in all kind of things. Some of you are interested. Okay, let me hear this.
That's exactly what I've been telling people when they were kind of sticking up for Janie and why she would say something like that. So you have no idea what the relationship was like. You have no idea what's.
You don't have any idea. You have zero idea, right? Because you already took Daniel's side in the very beginning without even knowing anything about it. And then later you say, okay, maybe. So let's make this very clear. And I'm doing this because some of you seem to pay a lot of attention to the show and like to watch it. But I want to put this into proper perspective right here, what you allow yourself to listen to.
In her head, I, for one, wouldn't think to take somebody to court for grandparents' rights. However, Lord love my daughter if she ever tried to stop me. But I mean, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't even cross my mind. So I said it probably didn't even cross her mind. So thank you for confirming what I suspected your reasons were, because most normal families, people break up all the time. Mm-hmm. Most normal families don't jump to court as a grandma thinking, I'm going to have to.
And I want to say this also about, blaming Belinda. I guess a few people, I have read a few comments, and I am telling all of you, be very, very careful with these types of thoughts. Seriously. Your thoughts are your own. But if you allow yourself to go into this type of direction, that is not a good thing. Because Belinda, I believe her that she did think that everything was okay when she now asked Malaya, why did you never visit me in the last 2 years? That tells me before she had no idea. She just knew they stopped coming around. So these are changes in life that happen little by little. It's sort of like the frog in the water that's starting to boil. The frog will not jump out because he doesn't realize how the water gets warmer and warmer. And by the time it is too hot, it's too late for him to jump out. That's sort of the situation where I don't know if she saw red flags or warning signs, not necessarily. So when it comes to Belinda Gray, whatever with her son Cody and everything, and she's obviously, that's a whole different story, but he's cleared. Cody has nothing to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Nothing. And I believe her when she said the cops came to her house and made it official. We do not need you anymore for anything. We will not look at you. You are in the clear, and you did not do anything to hurt your own children or abduct them or whatever they may have been considering at the beginning.
Do this to see my kid, unless there's some kind of a history or background there to make you
So get ready for a bunch of blah, blah, blah. But I want to point a couple of things out for those of you interested in statement analysis.
think you're never going to see your grandkids again. So I'll just leave that at this. Is all procrastination. That.
Like I said,
And intention detection is a part of my plates system. So what she's about to tell you is going to be indicative of her intentions. Daniel, those who live in glasses shouldn't throw. Okay.
and for Lily's birthday, she contacted me and she told me that she was going to bring the kids by for a visit. That she'd be in touch and she'd drop by for a visit with them.
Yeah, so sad. And I wanted to kind of passive aggressively, I guess, talk directly to Daniel. I didn't know if you were going to be here or not.
Of course he is.
But I figured you'd watch.
What else does he have to do? And the silence is killing him because he thought he was doing really well with his TV interviews. And he thought, hey, people are listening to me. I'm controlling the narrative. But the one thing that I believe really did him in was when he started in the private messages to respond to her. Because then that opened the floodgates. Then other people came onto the show. Then he started to feel left out because now you have other people speaking the truth.
Replay and Janie too, and anybody else that's involved. When this whole thing started, I think it was about week 2 when I reached out to you to just show you some support, and you decided to talk to me. Mm-hmm. And I was compassionate, and I was on your side, and I was supportive, and it stayed that way.
No, it didn't. So yes, you were on his side, but you also commented on one of my videos saying we don't know what was on your mind and suggesting that you may have faked being on his side. Why? Because you wanted him on your show and you wanted to keep him talking. So
and the following days after our live, things on the internet got crazy. People were accusing me of faking that entire conversation.
Who did that? I never did that. I never did that. Remember that, okay? The accusations were there, and I was the first one who didn't need a disclaimer. Oh, maybe this is fake. I knew it was real. So let's make very, very clear that there isn't a half-truth or kind of, or my truth or your truth. So it's called anonymous author identification, and it's a part of advanced statement analysis. And when applied properly, it gives you enough of an indication who the person is that has authored certain messages. It led me to be confident enough to where I didn't need proof. And I already decided, I think these are real.
I had messages from somebody called Picto and a couple others that were Facebook messaging me. And I started to hear from other people that it was you, Daniel, that was spreading it around Facebook that this conversation was fake.
I have absolutely no doubt that Daniel would do that. That he would actually try to discredit his own messages. I mean, I have absolutely no doubt that he wasn't me, you know, wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me. He's trying to get it to go away. He wants everything to go away. And Daniel is overwhelmed now because I think that, again, in his life, he was probably able to talk himself out of a lot of things with a bunch of idiots who live nearby. But in this case, all the eyes are on him, man. And how will this end? Will he off himself? Because that was on my mind early on. What will happen when a guy like Daniel is going to be confronted with hardcore prison time?
So that started to change my opinion because I didn't know what to believe. Because
No, your opinion changed the next day. When people pointed out that you blindly supported him, and I remember the statements from both of you, at least saying that you think Daniel had nothing to do with it, and he's a good guy because he's speaking to you. So don't accuse me of being unkind for saying that, right? Because if you're saying I'm being unkind, you're also not telling me I was wrong about anything that I said in my initial video about you guys, reacting to how you basically became a PR person for Daniel, but not for long because it backfired on you. So let's make this very, very crystal clear.
you weren't answering me anymore. So I just started paying attention and talking things through with Sunny and with Kent.
Daniel regretted it really quickly, and now we realize he's a foot in the mouth kind of guy who is not strategic, and his hurt feelings towards having lost Malaya, uh, that is the fuel behind it. He wanted to somehow get to Malaya, and he couldn't message her directly, so he wanted to do it through other people. I believe that was a part of his a big part of his motivation. Daniel, I have been in many chats sticking up for your mom. Short note Carrie. Yeah, I know. Oh my God. Look at this comment, man. People have been so rude with their comments. I would really like to hear from you. Please talk. Oh my God. You see the enablers, man. People sticking up for. How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you stick up for somebody, period, unless you. Never mind. You see, this is the stuff I'm not even getting into.
And I started paying really close attention to the things that you were saying on the news and the things that you were posting in these chats. And I would like to say really quickly here, I think I'm the only creator that's been on YouTube that has been out here asking Daniel to stop talking in these YouTube chat.
I hate, you know why I hate the word creator, even though I'm considered to be one? Because it puts everybody into the same category and it just sounds so pretentious. I'm a creator. I am a creator. Yeah, 99% of what I see on YouTube, I don't watch. Well, my daughter likes to watch all kind of crazy crap. So I guess there are creative people out there. Doesn't have to be my cup of tea. But she says now she's the only creator. I'm cringing. She's the only C word. No, sorry, that was a stupid pun. And I didn't mean that. I'm not calling her that at all. Actually, I didn't even think about it. I don't even know what I was. Please, let me take this one back. I thought I was being funny. So, you're the only C, let me say it like this. You're the only C Because you know what? If people always like to censor the P word, the S word, the F word, the this, the da, 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 I can also have my own things. I can also say, you know what? The word creator triggers me when people use that terminology for themselves. And I don't, feel like I should be, you know, you know what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying not to say, actually, but what I'm saying. Why would you tell Daniel to stop talking? Charmaine, why would you tell Daniel to stop? Oh, let me guess. Let me guess. You want to act like you're now his attorney or his PR person to get into his good graces? That he will stop talking. And then, magically, he will come on and only talk to you. Is that what your intentions are? To have Daniel exclusive and get him to do that under the pretense that you're trying to protect him and then slam him on your channel? Okay, great strategy. Maybe. Go for it. But why would anybody want? We don't want people to be quiet at all. We want people to let it all hang out because then I can analyze the statements.
Rooms because
And please don't say, "Oh, you called me a C word." No, I didn't. I that actually slipped out more or less because now I'm incriminating myself. Do what you want. But this is really, I've watched this before, this part, and this is really, oh my God.
your screenshots are being taken everywhere and twisted.
What? I'm not twisting anything. Are you crazy? I'm not twisting anything from Daniel. I'm putting everything into proper context and I'm analyzing it. That's why she said, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that when he just gave it away again. And then Sunny immediately took it off after she highlighted it. All right.
So, in my defense, I've been asking you to stop doing this, but you keep on doing it. And I know, Daniel, that you're not stupid. I do. I know that you're not
How do you know that? How do you know he's not stupid? I don't know that.
stupid.
Since when you know more than me?
And you know that there are things that you said in the beginning.
Well, she's sucking up to him right now because she wants to get back in touch with him and they want him on that show.
That have changed, and I know that you know that. And I'm hoping that you understand that the evolution of my whole opinion is based strictly.
Wrong. I saw this so called evolution the day after you took his side. You were already talking about, well, he didn't. No, 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 no. Both of you. So she's using actually something that Daniel did as a false reason why she turned on him or came to her senses and started saying what she really saw. Because it backfired, because people said, what the hell are you talking about? This guy is deceptive. And you're openly taking a side and you're telling other people, you're trying to guilt people into taking his side as well and not judge him? I'm not judging. Judging is for weak people. Judging is for stupid people. It's hard to think, therefore people judge. I agree with Carl Jung on this one. This is not a matter of judging. So when people accuse others of judging, be very careful with that. Remember when Janie said, so you need to, how you call me a liar, you don't know me. The insinuation that somebody is judging catches people off guard. And they get the bad conscience and they shut up and trying to shut people up. That's exactly the strategy and the intention behind a lot of the rhetoric that we have been hearing, not only in this particular case, but in general.
On the things that you have in this legendary said on the news or typed in these group chats. And I think that if you use your voice, sit down with Ken.
Okay, sit down with Kent Corbett, right? And by the way, I hate it when people say, well, there's more audio, but we're not going to post it. This is a criminal investigation, man. But people are hogging, not only them, whatever they have material-wise, and then they will post it eventually, little by little, on their own channel and say, okay, you want the information, here's a link. And I'm like, it's a 5-hour and 33-minute video. Where is it? You can upload a short for a minute and then I have the information, or a 5-minute video. But I gotta watch the whole thing. The same with the Bullhorn Betty thing right now about the CPS report, or what allegedly was said in the CPS report that Katie Proudfoot, that Sebastian told CPS workers that he felt like his mother hated him, right? Well, I want to have a little bit, I want the source. I want the source. I always want that. So let me guess. Daniel needs to talk to Kent, and Kent will suggest to come on the show and clear the air. That's the goal right now. They've done well getting Belinda. They've done well getting a lot of different people. And of course, they stoop to the level of Durwood. But they want Daniel. They're not trying with Malaya. They don't think they have a chance to get her. And, she's not going to talk. I don't think she will talk, period. And, she's only worried about CPS and Meadow. So she sent Haley in there, and Haley said Daniel was doing rugs, allegedly. But Haley also said Malaya had known about it for 2 years. So that's when that's when they decided to backtrack, because that would mean Malaya may have been lying to CPS and covering up for Daniel and not protected her children, put her children into harm's way. So that's why they don't want these allegations to keep standing, because Haley went a step above when she said, well, Malaya had been telling me for 2 years that's been happening, that he's been doing rugs. Yeah, like I said before, from the beginning, I told you guys everything changed by the time she was pregnant with Meadow, because Daniel was no longer on his best behavior. He figured, she's mine now, she's stuck with me. Now I can be the real Daniel. Which is why he felt the need to remind her of the Daniel that he first met. And that's how we get to the truth. From the moment that I saw that statement. And again, that is the mistake that he made. He was messaging her, and his intentions were to get Malaya back. Intention detection is, in my opinion, the most important part of Plates. And Plates is the initial statement analysis to help us understand what we are looking at, which direction something is headed, so we are able to focus and pinpoint the statements that will lead us to the truth eventually, without having to make any guesses. So, this, I think, is a good training tool when somebody's being deceptive. She is deceptive with Daniel right now. When you Plates, PLAIDS, priorities, leakage, avoidance, attentions, deception, and sensitivity. So when we detect deception, we need to go from there and understand what are the intentions. Why are you being deceptive? There we go. Talk to Kent. And Kent will get Daniel onto the show. If Kent reaches out to Daniel, reached out to Kent, he hasn't reached out to Belinda, by the way. And I guess it's going to be later in this one where Belinda or somebody says, I think Belinda said, reach out to me. He hasn't done that.
One-on-one, talk to Belinda one-on-one, use your own channel. I'm not out.
And she says one-on-one. Well, why does it have to be one-on-one? Because you want him to come to you. Little by little. They want to warm him up. Talk to Belinda? Okay, good.
Asking you to talk to me or Sunny or anybody else that's been bashing you out here. But you use your voice and you go through those inconsistencies and clear them up.
And again, I am not judging people. I am pointing out that I believe now they want to upgrade it. We have Belinda, we have many different people. Now we want Daniel. We want to make it stick.
That's how fine that balance is for a lot of us with you, Daniel. We just need to know what actually happened. And if you got confused, you got confused.
Wait. What Miss?
It's based strictly on the things that you have either said on the news or typed in these group chats. And I think that if you use your voice, sit down with Kent one-on-one, talk to Belinda one-on-one, use your own channel. I'm not asking you to talk to me or Sunny or anybody else that's been bashing you out.
I'm not asking you. That's exactly what you're asking him to do. That's exactly what you want. You're not asking, right? I'm not asking you to help me with this and that, but that's exactly what I want. You see the difference? When somebody is telling you a negative, what they are not doing, immediately get in there. Don't ignore it. When Janie said, I'm not here to lie. Yes, the reason you came on was to lie. I'm not asking you to talk to us. Yes, that's exactly what you are doing. But you figure Daniel doesn't talk to you anymore. So talk to somebody close to us. So this is the rerouting. This is the detour to get back to us. From there, he'll talk to us again. Because these people are going to say, well, Belinda not, but Kent will say, I think it's time for you to come on and put it all to rest, man. You're such a great speaker, Daniel. And you're such a wonderful speaker. So you should come on and, clear the air. In other words, dig a hole even deeper, but do it on our channel. And you know what? This is a very blatant strategy, but it seems to work with certain types of people. Chris McDonough uses this strategy all the time. Now I'll say he has only one talent, getting people who are stupid to incriminate themselves on the air. That is his one talent, and some people have that talent. And that is a talent that they have. They sweet talk Daniel with, fake sympathy or whatever. And Daniel couldn't help it but figure maybe I can reach my layer. And that is, I believe, what Daniel really, really, what did him in. Because that's when I've gotten the really good statements. And that's exactly what I want. That's what we want. We want him to talk. You see, I am not editing anything. I'm not taking anything out of context. I actually demand context. If I think there's context missing, I want it. I don't need to fabricate anything because the truth is more exciting than any kind of fiction. The truth is very interesting. So I wanted you guys to see an example because maybe in everyday life somebody's trying to sweet talk you into doing something you don't really feel like doing. And always be aware of the intentions. Intention detection will protect you in life and make things much, much, much easier. Be it in your personal life, in business, every aspect, intention detection will give you answers.
Here, but you use your voice and you go through those inconsistencies and clear them up. That's how fine that one.
He can't. He can't clear them up. The only way he would clear them up would be by admitting what he had done. Don't you understand that? You do. You must. The inconsistencies come because he's throwing out so many different things and altering them because he wants to keep people from looking at himself. And all he's going to have left next is, I did it. And then tell us what it is. I 100% did not. Well, if you did do 100%, then tell us how you think Malaya is responsible. Oh, because she neglected the kids and you had to do what you had to do? You, the reason that Jackie had black eyes and a cut under his chin is because Malaya didn't pay attention to him? That's new. A crime against a child occurred because, well, yeah, I want him. Okay, Daniel, you know what? Go ahead and believe her and come on her channel. Please talk to Kent. Uh, Again, I hope they're not going to have a private conversation and say, well, I cannot really. You have to be a member in order to access any of it. I hope they're not going to play this part, this stuff, you know? Which, of course, if it happens, somebody will say, to hell with that. I'm going to record it. This is a criminal investigation. We have a right to know. This is not pay-per-view. Police needs to pay money. Well, I'm sure that the Truth Verification Unit, they're on the channel already and have been, and several of them, and they got the membership and everything. But I want to know. I want the access as well because I'm not going to flip flop. I tread very carefully, and everything I'm saying, if I make a mistake, I will tell you exactly why I made the mistake. I will tell you exactly what went wrong if I'm going to make a mistake. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of making any mistakes. And I said it from the very beginning. It didn't happen on Friday. And there was tension at home. And I believe that the origin of the tension was actually Daniel's mother. She contributed the same way Brian Laundrie's mom, Rose, whatever her name is, Roberta Laundrie, talking badly about Gabby Petito. Chris Watts' mother trashing, allegedly, his wife. These mama's boys, they feel justified. I'm doing it for mommy.
For a lot of us with you, Daniel, we just need to know what actually happened. And if you got confused,
Now she's making excuses for him. Oh, you got confused, so you hurt the children. Yeah, this kind of blatant stuff, man. It does work with some people. And now, of course, I mean, any police interrogator, even if he's a rookie, knows already, yeah, you know what? Listen, man, I know how things are in marriage, and sometimes the woman can't shut up, and you just snapped, bro. I understand, man. And you made her shut up, and then you didn't really know what you're doing, and next thing you know, she's not alive anymore, and you, listen, brother, I'm gonna do, yeah, come on, man. I mean, I watch these things, and I'm thinking, God, how stupid people are, that they fall for this stuff. And by the way, they read you your rights, but only like 5% of the people who have their rights read to them actually say, I want a lawyer. People want to speak, people want to talk. And that is just the human nature that we are taking advantage of in statement analysis. We know that people want to talk. The only way to control your language is by shutting up. And that's exactly what Malaya is doing. And Malaya is doing it because she wants to keep her daughter Maddo. And if she covered up the rug use for 2 years and CPS came and asked, what's going on in the house? What are that, this and this and this? And she lied for Daniel, but yeah, she doesn't want, she wants to move on. Her priority is Maddo. That's why no real tears for Jack and Lily. Yes, it can happen that somebody is so, it can happen. You see, we don't need to understand her. We don't need to be able to relate to her for something to be what it is. So if she lost interest in her own children and sort of start new with Maddo and only be about Maddo, then that's how she was. But we are now dealing with what is criminal and what isn't. But if she covered up for Daniel, allowed it to get worse and worse and worse and worse, to where, I mean, remember Sebastian Rogers, all of the CPS stuff has been fairly recent, right? Or last couple of years or something like that. Before there was none of it. It's easier to control the children the younger they are. So as they get bigger and Lily's voice gotten louder and Jack is still in a pull-up but starting to probably take it off all the time, which is why Daniel kept talking about the pull-up, because that was a big issue to him. That may have been something that caused him to snap when Jack would take his pull-up off, because nobody changed it for him for a very long time. So he got uncomfortable and just took it off, and who knows, maybe threw it somewhere. And he didn't, maybe that, well, you can, there's something about that pull up. That's why it's so important. That's why Daniel keeps bringing it up. And I really appreciate those of you who are steadfast and who are here in the live chat commenting. Maybe you don't have time to watch my video now, and maybe later you go back to it and listen to the parts that you want to focus on, and not be like the person earlier who used to post on my channel and maybe still does, and I probably hide user is what I have to do when somebody is on a propaganda trip, meaning they're not there to learn, they're not here to learn. What they are here to do is to accuse me of judging Janie, of judging Daniel, accusing everybody else on my channel. And I want you to fight back when people accuse you. I don't want you to ever be silent. You can be distant, but if you are somewhere, comment. Let people know, because that way, that's the only way to communicate with people in the right state of mind. Because people like that want to overshadow the real essence of the investigation. Don't let them. When they're saying, I've been sticking up for Janie, because she lost everything. She lost everything because of her own doing, and she expressed regret. She expressed regret because she knows that she could have prevented what happened, in my opinion. She doesn't express regret because of what happened to those children, but because of the effect her actions indirectly had towards her not being able to see her grandchildren and possibly losing her sons to the prison system. That's where the regret is. And yes, her tears, I believe, are real. She's crying for herself, and she's crying for Daniel and what he's probably going to face eventually. And again, I don't know where it'll end up if you go to prison for 25 years. She talked about until she's 85. She's 60 now, right? I mean, she looks more than that, but I think she's 60 now. So that would be 25 years. Coincidence, right? She's thinking ahead. Maybe when Daniel's 80, when she's 85, Daniel's gonna get out. Unless he'll off himself. Or something will, I don't know where it's going to end. I shouldn't say that, but I always think ahead in terms of how will people, when it all crumbles down. Now Daniel is on this energy trip. And again, if you believe Haley and her allegations about drugs, then that does explain the the way that Daniel just goes out there, sends all these messages because he gets emotional and he's overly confident because of the effect of the drugs, allegedly, possibly, in my opinion only. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Everything I'm stating is my opinion only, or as I like to say it, my thoughts. And then he tries to tell people it wasn't me. That's an interesting part, right? It makes him sound really, really stupid. But it is what it is. To think that people will believe him. Oh, no, 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 it wasn't me. It was fake. Because he realized that the only effect it had, not even talking about the effect it had in terms of me being able to analyze what he said and us picking up on him feeling the need to say something about the Daniel he used to be, making it very clear how bad he had become over time. But the police told him, now people are threatening Malaya, and people are that easy to influence. And that is a stupidity that we're dealing with here. People immediately, oh, he sounds like a nice guy. I guess Malaya killed the kids. Really, 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 really. And Julia, you have been great in the very beginning in terms of, I consider everything, but it's narrowing itself down while I don't dismiss things early, period. But you had pointed out many, many reasons to me why Daniel is the one to look at. And I have added Janie to the equation. There's something about that grandmother. And I believe that whatever took place started with her having well, Jack, I believe something happened to first. Jack was out. That's Daniel's own statement. And when Lily kept coming into the room, and I believe she was screaming, it set off the dog. And from there, I have my thoughts. But I don't have all of the statements yet that I want. So, Daniel, please keep talking. Or, I don't really want you to talk to Kent, but I want you to talk to Kent and, take his invite and come on this channel. I would love that. And I will have a field day with it. Because all of you, Daniel, Janie, Logan, all of you in that family are open books. You're very easy to analyze. Very easy. And great training tools. So please, people, if somebody tries to shush you or tries to make it a virtue to stand up for Janie. We don't stand up for anybody. I'm not standing up for Malaya. I don't see her as being the aggressor. And she even told us, remember the statement where Janie said, I never saw her push them down. I don't believe Malaya had any violence towards her own children. I believe she was completely resigned. I believe that what she did was cover up for him, in my opinion, for 2 years. I believe that she witnessed abuse. I believe she witnessed use of drugs, allegedly. And I believe that she failed as a mother, to say it mildly. And that failure to protect eventually was what enabled the actions that we are now seeing the result of.
You got confused. I'm
Oh my God. I mean, I guess some really stupid people fall for this. What do I call it? Fake psychology? Like idiot psychology? You got confused, Daniel. You know, you had to shut her up because the dog started barking. We understand. We understand. Janie feels responsible for what is going on with Daniel. I believe that. I believe she feels responsible and she couldn't care less about what happened to Jack and Lily. She could not care any less, but she does feel responsible. Which she is indirectly, in my opinion. She could have prevented all that. But she didn't. So if you say we need to, poor Janie lost everything, that's a direct result of her actions and her nastiness towards these kids. So be very, very careful when somebody's trying to tell you, or somebody says to me, please be kind. When somebody says be kind, no, be real. Yes, I agree. Don't be offensive. Don't be aggressive. Don't be. Yes. There are things we all need to learn in terms of how we conduct ourselves on an everyday basis to get better at what we do. It's a constant journey. Learning happens to be something I absolutely love, and I love also to learn through teaching. Learn more, to see the bigger picture even clearer. But when somebody tells you Janie lost everything, yes. Do we need to feel bad? Not at all. Because this is about Jack and Lily. And I believe that every single thing she is doing is self-inflicted. And what she is suffering, according to her, is absolutely nothing to how these children suffered. Nothing. It's an insult. Ooh, I hope man, that woman going on there and talking about sticking up for Janie. Jesus Christ. And these are the types of people that feel the need to talk all the time. That's the crazy thing. So many of you are reasonable, but you don't say a lot, which is good because you're thinking. But that is when the imbalance, and that's why we sometimes get the illusion that the whole world is thinking one thing because of the types of people that are the most vocal. They love to tell others what to do. When somebody tries to guilt trip you, censor you, or accuse you of meaning something that you actually didn't, these are the people to distance ourselves from. Otherwise, we will be stuck talking about all the same BS. Otherwise, in a Sebastian Rogers case, look, it's all about At Night versus Stephen Fisher, or it was like that. People didn't care about Sebastian anymore. They used it to vent about certain types of people that remind them of something that they had to deal with once in their lives. And I don't want this case to ever go under the rug. Ever. ever. And I think we're getting really, really close right now. But people who disappoint you once, and again, intentions. When somebody tries to silence you, or somebody tries to make it a virtue to do the wrong thing, if you're sticking up for the wrong people, you are a part of the wrong crowd. That's where your mindset is. You're overlooking the needs and the suffering of two children by making yourself look like a good person because you stood up for the person who, in my opinion, was a catalyst for what wound up happening to these beautiful two children. I'm done.
Confused, you know? I mean,
Say something, guys. Live chat. Let me see. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for being direct? Should I tone it down? Should I adapt this type of mentality to please everybody? Tell people what today I tell you what you want to hear. I tell the other, then next time I tell the other side what they want to hear. To keep all of you around. I don't know. I mean, I want people, you know what? This is unfortunately, and this is why I always say share my video or share what I said. Share what I've said. And I will not say to you, share it for Jack and Lily, because then I would be insinuating if you don't do it, you don't care about Jack and Lily. Subscribe for Jack and Lily. No. What are they telling? Come on, man. I know you enough. Everybody here who has watched my videos already understands, you know, the meaning behind this. So no, but I'm saying to you, be steadfast out there. I see too many people who know what's going on, but they're silent. So in my case, I either cut off people completely because I realize the pattern is not going to change. They will, even if they change their minds, they change it too late simply because they realize, okay, the truth came through and it overpowered me. I no longer have a leg to stand on. But when another case comes up, they do the same thing again and again, and that means they're wasting our time. Okay, let's listen to her. Oh my God, this woman.
and I'm not the one talking. So use your voice to clear up those inconsistencies. And if you want to see the public opinion sway.
And by the way, she knows that. Anyways, she is the one who managed to get Daniel to talk in the private messages and incriminate himself, which is absolutely great. So she feels she has a connection to him. I got him once, I'm going to get him again. Or as she would say, don't use vinegar, use honey. She knows, but this is how she wants to get him to be on their program. And you know what? I am not judging. I'm not faulting you. But I'm pointing out how ludicrous it is. But I hope it works. I hope you're going to get Daniel on there. I can't. I actually didn't try, but I already know I can't. And I won't. And I know he's not going to comment in my videos. Why? Because he can't BS us. When she gives these types of speeches and she flip-flops, there's a strategy behind it. And you need people like that, always in investigations. You need people like me who analyze, but you also need people like her, Chris McDonough, any of these types of people who have the right touch to get people like that to talk. And I know I'm not always the right one. For some people I am. But I don't need to be either. I need to be the one who evaluates exactly what has been said. I don't need to be the one who gets them to talk. But I'm coming up with the right questions.
That's all this is about, Daniel. It is only about the words and the typing that you have done. This is
And it might work. He might get so desperate that he actually feels these people are on his side, actually, or his last chance. And boy, will I have a field day with that next one, because he is so cornered right now. I wouldn't even be surprised if the right interviewer can get him to confess right on the air. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. If you ask the right question, I believe you can get him to confess. Daniel, I know it's not easy. You were in the middle of it, between your mother and the children, and Malaya was just passive. She just sat around all damn day and did nothing, right, on her phone. And you were taking all the heat for everything, just as you're taking the heat right now, Daniel. And I think you need to free yourself. You need to free your mind. You need to let us know who you really are. And people are not going to judge you. Just get it off your chest, baby. Something like that, right? I don't think I would be the one. I don't know if I might get him to talk. If I have a chance to talk to him, I may get him to confess if I ever have the opportunity. But I am not going to. I'm not going to mislead blatantly. As a matter of fact, I don't want to mislead at all. I may hold back on what I really want to do with people like that. But then again, I don't like it, so I don't. So it would have to be a real switch for me, and I prefer the truth. I prefer telling the truth, live my life in a truthful manner, because once you realize how full of lies everyday life is, it's getting harder and harder to use rhetoric, or, you prefer people who are real. And I cannot stand the everyday, I like people, the few people that I'm communicating with in everyday life are people who keep it real, who don't really care too much. At least they're being real with me. They may not be real at work all the time. They may not be real in many aspects, maybe not even in their own relationships at home. But being real with me is a requirement, meaning you don't try to make yourself look better than you are. You have enough confidence to say, this is what it is. This is how I see things.Maybe I'm wrong. That's the other thing. People who don't want to be wrong are not the types of people that I deal with ever. Because I like to be wrong, as a matter of fact. I've been wrong many times. And being wrong and having it pointed out to me is a wonderful thing. And as I've said before, I've told Julia some thoughts and pointed out some possibilities. And she was the one who, with her reaction, forced me to look closer at certain situations where I was able to say, you know what? You're absolutely right. This area we need to dismiss right now. We don't want to look at that at all. And there is no way that Malaya hurt these kids. Because Janie would immediately, these people, the lame stuff that they're doing to make Malaya look bad, what did she do? Okay, she was on the phone all the time. And she had a crappy life with Cody, so she has nobody has a right to complain how her life was with Daniel, all this stuff. If Malaya had done anything, these people would sing like canaries. They would point it out. Eventually, if Daniel had something to do with making the kids disappear, but no, that was not about Malaya. I don't believe that. And if I'm wrong, I'd be happy to be wrong, because that would mean I have learned something really, really important. And that's where I stand right now. So listen to this a little more.
It's on you, and only you can fix it with your voice. That's it. Kent is.
Your voice is what gotten you into trouble, Daniel, but oh my God, oh my goodness.
Willing, Belinda would love to hear from you, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just clear it up. Just clear it up.
He hasn't reached out yet, by the way.
That's basically what I wanted to say. Like this, my opinion didn't come out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. I was one of your biggest supporters when I was messaging you and over time. And I do believe now that it wasn't you saying that our conversation was fake. I do believe you that it wasn't you. But that's how I became a little bit shaken.
But didn't you say that people said it came from Daniel? I mean, now you're confusing me, but I guess she's backtracking again. Maybe because she's figuring, okay, Daniel, I believe you. Sure, I believe everything that you say.
Like wondering, like, why would I do that? Who would say that? So I just wanted to get that message to you that the balance for public opinion.
So first of all, I remember she backtracked, she changed her mind, that was not because of that, because of her thinking that Daniel made these allegations. And she doesn't believe that it didn't come from him. I don't believe that. But again, this is her strategy that she's using to get him to talk. And that's why they are on the map, because of her ability to get Daniel to talk. But they've been in touch with Belinda before, by the way. But Belinda, it's a whole different story. Belinda's open because she just wants the answers, and whoever may be able to give her these answers. Charmaine, you will never get the truth from Daniel. You don't know that. We don't know that. We might. They don't have death row in Canada, right? But I'm sure that they will be able to offer him different deals for talking.
Or, it's so fine right now. It's teetering so much right now. All you have to do is use your voice, not your typing words, your voice.
And again, don't hate me for saying what I'm saying. Don't even try. Don't even think about it, people. I am not judging. I'm saying this is a good strategy, but still, I'm using this as a training tool for you to realize when somebody's deceptive, and through the deception, I'm detecting their intentions. And this is just one way of being able to see when somebody in everyday life may be giving you, saying to you what you want to hear, what they think you want to hear, because they want something from you that you otherwise wouldn't give them. Let's move on, man.
To clear up the specific information that you have put out that is inconsistent with other information that you have put out. Clear it up. That's all. It's harmless, right, Sonny? Or do you want my opinion on the Darren thing?
No, shut up.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll come back to that.
Oh, shut up. You should have never had that person on anyways. And again, I am taking the high road on the whole thing with that particular person. I am not getting into it. Remember that. When you say, oh my God, he's a liar, oh my God, well, tell people Mike Damon said it from the very beginning. He didn't even give that person the time of day. And Mike Damon said from the beginning that the messages from Daniel were real. So give me the credit when people try to sound like they're geniuses because they found out or they figured it out a month later.
I'm going to go back to Belinda now. After you just said that, Belinda, your thoughts there, what Charmaine said, or anything else you wanted to bring up here?
There is one more thing that I did want to bring up. I've had into the group chat there, that private group chat, when I listened to Janie, And I heard a few people say that they thank her very much and they're sure that I would thank her too for being their grandmother. And I'd have to say it really struck a chord in me that it's really, really hard to put into words.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I see Janie's pain. I believe her pain is real.
What are these stupid people doing? Cindy, don't twist my words. I never said nothing about Lana. These people love to hear themselves argue. They love to use these types of cases to make themselves look more important than they are. And they're using it for cheap entertainment. And there's, my goodness.
Her world has been tipped over. I see that. I know that. I do not thank her. I'm sorry. I heard this woman actually complain about Lily and Jack.
Okay, now I want to hear this.
I believe her pain.
Okay, I believe her pain
Is real. Her world has been tipped over.
Yes, I believe her pain is real also. I believe Janie's pain is real. However, remember what I said earlier.
I see that. I know that.
Uh-huh.
I do not thank her. I'm sorry. I heard this woman actually.
I do not thank her. I'm sorry, I don't thank her. She heard this woman actually, yes.
Complain about Lily and Jack.
And now this woman says hugs Belinda. She's playing both sides. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That is what stuck out to her. That this woman had the nerve to complain about her two missing grandchildren. You see? This is what Belinda picks up on. The things that are important.
Heard this woman say that she didn't need pictures of them because they were living there.
Yeah.
I heard this woman say that she doesn't know anything that goes on over in that trailer. She minds her own business.
Yeah.
Well,
and you see, that's why also Janie talked about, yeah, I'm a hermit, I mind my own business. It means that she wants deniability. She knows exactly what happened. But that is why she is trying to give you a reason to believe her when she makes these false claims that she had nothing to do with anything and doesn't know anything. And that is a lie, people. Janie knows exactly what happened. So,
no CPS was investigating. I've been shown pictures of Jack with black eyes. There's pictures of him with marks on his chin. CPS doesn't come because of learning disabilities.
yeah.
That much I do know. So CPS was there for something else. So no, I do not thank Janie. I'm sorry, but I don't.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you. I knew about that.
Yeah, why didn't you say it?
I'm glad you spoke up about that.
I just found out about that. I found out about that a couple days ago.
Oh,
Oh,
you know, I'll be honest, Belinda. Up until you just
I hate it when people I'll be honest, and I already told you yeah, I'll be honest. Okay, great.
brought it up, it's only a reason.
You're supposed to always be honest, right? What does it tell you when somebody feels the need to say I'll be honest? What does it tell you? It usually indicates I feel the need to say it, if I'm honest now, because I'm not always honest. And in her case, of course, the message that she gave to Daniel was not honest. So again, this is just a training tool, people. I think I'm done with this part, right?
Reason why I remembered that I had heard about that, to me,
What?
it was just something I remember hearing. Someone put it somewhere, and I want to say it was something to do with a family member, but it wasn't one of those things, and I kind of forgot about it up until you just reminded me now.
Really? Really?
And I'm so sorry. And you saw pictures?
4 major sons.
So,
Yeah, I was shown pictures.
Well, you know what? This is about truth for Jack and Lily.
oh
That's what
God.
this is about.
Now shut up. Now shut up. I cannot take it anymore. I cannot take this anymore. Anyways, one moment, people.
All three kids. And I'll tell you something else. For the last 2 years, I observed those kids in my backyard. And the only time that Malaya went out with those kids is when she took Meadow out. And when she took Meadow out, that's all she would do.
You see, what's your point here, woman? What's your point? The kids are missing. This is not about Malaya mothering.
Take her over to see the chickens. I have never seen I have never seen Malaya push those kids down on the swing or I would play snowballs with them. I'd build snowmans with them. I never seen Malaya ever do that with them. When she was out watching them coast, she was pulling Meadow around in the sleigh. After Meadow was born, how do you do, good lad? Yes, Meadow got all the attention. And when I would go in there after school, I would never see Malaya sit down and do their homework with them. Teddy was playing airplane. Lily would be running around showing me her dolls. And yes, I did more interaction with those children than Malaya did.
Yep. Daniel felt alright about what he did. He felt justified.
Hold on. When Jack
Uh-oh. Wait.
disappeared, the people that stayed here on May 2nd was Malaya's two great aunts and Malaya's grandmother stayed the night on.
Not interested. Let me see if there's a part that I actually need to listen to more.
For 2 months until Thursday when I gave my interview. The reason why I've been doing this is the investigators advised me not to speak to anybody because of their investigation. But it's been over 2 months now. I find the investigators are not telling us anything. They put only one report out since all this happened. They are not giving us any updates. I'm tired. I can't deal with this because they are keeping stuff to themselves, which the public should.
The silence and uncertainty in terms of what's going to happen to Daniel and possibly Justin is killing her.
No, we should know what is happening.
Mm-hmm. Not where Jack and Lily are or what happened to them, but what is happening. Am I going to have to say goodbye to my son?
I don't believe Malaya took that picture. I believe it was a drone. The same drone that took the picture of the property. I wasn't around when it happened, but I'm believing it was a drone that took the picture of Daniel and Justin on the ATV. There is something else I have to clear up about the ATV. The ATV has not been on this property in the last 5 years or
Yeah.
so.
But let me guess, has not been on this property 5 years or so. What about that night? What did you rake away? Was it only footprints, or was it actually the impressions of something that hadn't been on the property for 5 years, such as the ATV that may have been there that particular night?
Because my neighbor, which I'm not going to mention, is
Was that the same neighbor who also talked about a drug party?
known for stealing property. And that was one thing.
Then this could be the one that Daniel referred to as, he just needs to get himself out of trouble, or he wants to. That could be who he was referring to, possibly. Maybe a bunch of people who all do wrong a lot of times, several times, and they accuse each other, or who knows.
That I did not want him to take. And I also want to mention, too.
By the way, your dog barks at everything on the coming to the property. If you had an ATV and you parked it close to your trailer, and somebody at night comes to steal that ATV, wouldn't your doggy go berserk? How did he manage to get anything from your property when we know now that your doggy is just on it? I mean, that's like a junkyard dog right there. How would he be able to do that without anybody noticing?
Someone, I can't tell you who, has broken in when Daniel and I were away, has broken in to our trailer and have taken a few things.
In our trailer. Whose trailer? Your trailer? And when were you away? And what did they take, allegedly? Okay, so your dog was not on the property, right? Did you go somewhere and take the doggy with you? Took the doggy with you if you went away from it for a while. Okay, when was that? I'm not going to tell you who. What? Yeah, you need to tell us.
I'm not going to say what they are, but have taken a few things.
What are they? What was taken? That's avoidance right there. PLAIDS. Priorities, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deception, and sensitivities. What did they take, woman? You see, the fact that she feels a need to tell you she's not going to tell you makes this particular area sensitive. What exactly was taken?
And this has all been reported to the investigators.
So?
And yes, we still have drones that fly over or that are over our place.
And what picture on the ATV was she talking about? Was it a picture where the brother is leaning on his ATV and Daniel is standing over it? Is that the picture? Was it from a drone? Yeah, maybe.
It's usually Friday and Saturday nights, mostly. So if the people out there that are flying the drones, if you like to watch a 60-year-old woman on a Friday and Saturday night,
we don't care about you. You still don't get what this is all about.
And have nothing better to do, you go ahead. And I'd like to say something else. And for all the people that are driving by, taking pictures of my property and taking pictures to see that what we're doing in the yard, I'm going to let you guys know I am scared of being in my own place because I stick mostly.
But you have this doggy there. I mean, yeah, maybe she is scared. Okay. Maybe people in the area are disgusted with what has taken place. maybe, you know, and again, I don't encourage harassment. I don't encourage any type of vigilante. I don't encourage, you know, taking matters into your own hands in a manner that, you know, we need law enforcement, and we need law enforcement to do their job. The same with Sebastian Rogers. Even if they are not doing their job, we can do our job analyzing and knowing for ourselves what the truth is, and then pass it on. And the truth eventually will be, it will come out eventually.
To my RV and my backyard, because I never know that when somebody's going to blame us for what's going on, or blame me, I should say, I am scared to death that somebody's going to come along and do something to me while I'm in my yard. That's how scared I am now. Now, all these here interviews that Daniel have done, I am scared for him too. I'm scared it will turn out to be like a porta pack. That's what I am scared of. I told the investigators this, and they more or less can't do anything about it because they're on public property, or they're on public property. If they step foot on my property, then there's something I can do. Yes, I believe the kids are alive. And the reason why I believe the kids are alive is because my heart is telling me they are alive.
Here's the thing. Why is she using that language about her heart? Because she listened to Belinda's interview saying in her heart she believes the kids are not alive. Well, your heart tells you this, but my truth, my heart, tells me something differently. She has a right to her heart, now I have a right to my heart. She's copying it. She's copying her language and trying to go the other route.
Life. If they are deceased, I would have it.
If they are deceased, it's entering her mind. She's allowing for this possibility.
Just like everybody else, you'd have this feeling in your heart that you can't explain.
Yes, if they are deceased, you have this feeling. Who is you? Are you talking to Belinda? Because she knows they're no longer with us.
And your gut feeling.
That's exactly what Belinda said. So she says, well, my gut feeling tells me something different. So she wants people to go out there and think the kids are alive and look for them and be busy looking. The same way they did with Sebastian Rogers. Go out there, out there. He's somewhere out there. Keep looking there. Don't look at us. Same strategy.
But no, I definitely believe the kids are not deceased. I believe they are alive.
I live. It almost sounds like I lied, right? Listen.
Yes, I believe the kids are alive. And the reason why I believe the kids are alive is because my heart is telling me they are alive. If they are deceased, I would have, just like everybody else, you'd have this feeling in your heart that you can't explain, and your gut feeling. But no, I definitely believe the kids are not deceased. I believe they are alive.
Didn't it sound like I lied?
Where they are, I cannot tell you. As I said before, if I knew where the kids were,
I can't tell you. He doesn't say, I don't know where they are. I can't tell you.
I would go and get them. I would not care what kind of shit I got into. I would go and get them. And
what did you get into? Covering up? Raking away the evidence?
there's here's another thing that I would like to put out there. I would like whoever has the kids or wherever.
And I believe this is something she's learned. Maybe even from my channel, somebody that's, you know, somebody said, well, Mike Damon says that, you never called for a potential abductor. So she wants to do now what Daniel has failed to do.
Knows where the kids are. Please, if they want to and they want to get out of trouble, please drop them off where they
Getting out of trouble. That's on her mind because she wants to get out of trouble. She wants her son to be out of trouble.
pick them up at night time. We do not have cameras. We do not have an outside street light. It is pure dark. If you watch a video of someone that saw me opposably filling potholes in, how dark it is, because they drove by to show everybody how dark it is. If they want to drop the kids off of here, and if they got the kids to yell, my dog would let me know that they're out there. I will go get them, and I will make sure they are safe. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I know.
Okay.
Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and.
I know Daniel didn't have. Not Daniel didn't have anything to do with it. I know. How do you know?
Lily's disappearance. The reason I know that, I know in my heart that Daniel would not harm those children.
Now she feels the need to tell us the reason. And I know in my heart she's using Belinda's language. When she told us initially, in my heart, I believe the kids are not alive anymore. You see, first she says, I know. And then it turns into a belief. So there is a downgrading effect. You don't say, I know, and then, okay, the evidence for my knowledge is my belief. That makes zero sense.
The answer relies with Malaya. She hasn't spoke up, she hasn't come, and she hasn't said anything about all this. That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya.
Rely with Malaya. Okay.
I'm going to give an opinion on here, and this is my opinion and my opinion only. I think Sunny should watch what she says about people. She has very, very bad accusations about people.
About who?
And I do not like it. The reason I am on Facebook is because I will not go on her because she has her opinion, yes, but
Because you got more sense than Daniel. Yeah, that's why you won't go on there.
her accusations towards people is terrible. And I don't like the way she nags Daniel all the time to come on and defend himself. That is up.
That's exactly what she was doing. They want Daniel on there. Absolutely. I have no doubt.
To Daniel to do that, not her agitizing and antagonize him to do it. And I do not go on any otherbody's show. I went on Facebook there a while ago and I tried to explain to people, give people timelines, and they just screwed it all up. So I went off there. And that was my opinion about Brenda. Just like everybody else has opinions. So if everybody took it the wrong way, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I will say Dara did get some things wrong with what I said, but in my interview and on here, I am correcting what he said about events. I am telling my truth about my side of what.
If it was the truth, see, my truth of my side. My side of what? The story? The script? The fabrication? My truth. When somebody says to you, my truth, and they feel the need to ask the pronoun my, that means they don't believe it can stand on its own as the truth. And when somebody says it's my truth, it's different than saying it's my opinion. Because when you say it's my opinion, you are inviting people to correct you. When you say my truth, it means you cannot correct me because it would be a personal attack on me. I will accuse you of personally attacking me. And it's my truth. I take ownership. And you have no access to it. You have no right to it.
Happened. On May 1st, nobody was here. On May 2nd, when Jack and Lily disappeared, the people that stayed here
Okay.
on May 2nd was
Where?
Malaya's two great aunts and Malaya's grandmother stayed the night. On that Friday, May 2nd, the ones that were in the trailer, which was a family reunion, was.
It wasn't a family reunion. Two children are missing. Their biological relatives, two children, were missing. So she's dismissing it like they have a nice family reunion, a big party in her home, on her property, completely ignoring the fact that there was an emergency situation.
Malaya's mother, Cindy, Malaya's grandmother, Patty, Malaya's aunt, I don't know her name, I never met her, Malaya's two great aunts.
Okay.
I never met them.
You didn't meet them, you didn't talk with them, okay, but you saw them, right?
And Cindy's boyfriend.
But what she's telling us, when she says, I never met him, that all of a sudden these strangers make themselves at home on her property and she doesn't like it. She feels intruded upon.
We're all in the big trailer, eating, drinking coffee.
Wow, they made themselves at home. They had a great time. Nothing about why they were there. Nothing about that. From her perspective, she hated it. That these people all of a sudden, they were eating and drinking coffee. Really? Is that all they were doing? It was about the children. That's why they were there. So she's trying to make it look like they are a bunch of freeloaders coming by and just having a big party at her expense. That's the image she's trying to give everybody. The language doesn't lie. How she wants to paint them, how Logan tried to paint Malaya's family. There is a reason. You don't expect that in this moment. You wouldn't attack the family of two missing children. Would you do that? Attack the family members of two missing children?
I don't believe any of them went out searching.
Wow. Okay, let's run through.
On that Saturday, after everybody left, after the fight or the altercation at the end of
Fight, yes. The first thing she said was fight. I believe you.
the driveway, everybody left.
From her perspective, it was a fight.
Except Malaya's grandmother Patty was here, and she was going to stay the night.
Yeah.
But
because her grandmother was worried about the children, didn't know what really had happened, in my opinion, at the time. And so maybe she said, you know what, I want to stay in case my great grandchildren are showing up. I want to be there for that. That would make sense, right? Is there anybody here that doesn't understand that or doesn't think that makes sense? Let me know. Seriously, let me know. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think if it was Corey, Haley's boyfriend, came and took her, she did not want to leave.
Mm-hmm. Why?
But Corey came and took her.
Why? Because she wanted free food and drink coffee? No, because of her great grandchildren being missing. The ones that are nothing to you, the ones you hated. And you can't understand that somebody loves them. You can't understand how much Belinda loves them. You can't understand that. You can't understand that anybody would love Jack and Lily because of how you viewed them.
And they all left. There was nobody here after that when everybody left on
Daniel was there.
Saturday evening.
Yep.
The reason why I know who was all in the kitchen on Friday night was I went in to tell Malaya that me, Justin, and myself were going back out on the bike to search for Jack and Lily. Malaya was sitting on the couch on her phone.
Yes.
With Meadow on her chest.
Okay.
And the only thing that Meadow said to me was, Janie, do you want me to shut your chickens in for you? And
that wouldn't be Meadow. That would not be Meadow.
I said my chickens were the least of my worries. I was more worried about going out looking for Jack and Lily.
Because Malaya knows what happened and you did a fake search with your son, Justin. So, Malaya knew what happened. And again, I'm not giving her a blank check for anything. I believe that she needs to also be held accountable for the role she played in covering up abuse, at the least.
And I also want to say, the day that I was crying, that Belinda showed...
Malaya is not capable of being that fake, you know what I mean? To pretend to search, more simple-minded, you know what I mean? Just kind of like, well, let me go into this.
Malaya came out and put her head on my shoulder, which it should have been the other way around. And yes, Justin did cry.
No. Malaya knows what happened to her children, and at that moment she felt a need to do that. You have no right to put your head on anybody's shoulder. Because I believe you were the instigator from the very beginning. I believe there was abuse in the house, at least towards Jack, physical. And you did nothing to prevent it. You knew about it, I believe. And you didn't care about it. So. And Justin cried. Now she wants to make Justin. So there's something about Justin where she wants him to look like a better person than he is. Right?
Because I was crying. And I also want to say, the day that I was crying, that Belinda showed up, Malaya came out and put her head on my shoulder, which it should have been the other way around.
No, it shouldn't be.
And yes, Justin did cry because I was crying. And Justin felt bad for me because I was blaming myself for not getting up. And
You're blaming yourself, yes, but not for not getting up. You are blaming yourself, and you are to blame, I believe that. At least indirectly.
looking, checking on Jack and Lily. That's the reason why Justin was crying, because he was crying because I was crying. And he was also crying because he was
Because?
upset about Jack and Lily.
Ah, because of listen to the pauses she's making. She is not, when somebody pauses that long and the flow is being interrupted, that means they don't want you to know their thoughts. What the crying was, what this alleged crying was really about. Listen to this.
Belinda showed up. Malaya came out and put her head on my shoulder, which it should have been the other way around.
No, it shouldn't.
And yes, Justin did cry because I was crying. And Justin felt bad for me because I was blaming myself for not getting up and checking on Jack and Lily.
Uh-huh.
That's the reason why Justin was crying, because he was crying because I was crying. And he was also crying because he was
Uh-huh.
upset
Uh-huh.
about Jack and Lily
Right.
disappearing.
Look how carefully she had to choose her words there. That's the one I just watched, right?
I would have her head on my shoulder.
Okay, wait. Next.
Well, let's start with Jack. Jack was a curious little boy.
Was.
He was a happy little-go-lucky boy.
Was.
But I'll tell you, if he didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it. Because when I would get after him to put his shoes on, and when he was running around his bare feet, I would say, Jack, put your shoes on. I've said this. And he would just stand there and put his arms up, fold his arms up, and go, eh, 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 eh. And that's all I would get out of him. Other than that, he was a curious little boy. That's all he would do all day. When he was outside was sit and turn boards over or rocks over looking for bugs and worms. I had my granddaughter down digging worms for the chickens. And he would come down there and he would grab every worm that he could see. And when it would come time to go feed the chickens, he goes, no, they are my friends. I'm keeping them. He would play on the swing. He was a happy-go-lucky boy.
Mm-hmm.
Lily?
Malaya said, go lucky, children. Not happy, because Malaya, as a mother, knew in her heart the kids were not happy. They had no reason to be happy. But in her case, when she says happy, because she was unhappy, she felt they had no right to be happy. Or whatever little happiness they had, was maybe not deserved because they were bothering her. These two children were annoying her, and their happiness was the least of her concern. So from her perspective, being so unhappy, knowing she was unable to transfer all of her unhappiness to them, she recognized them as being happy, but Malaya did not. Kid's mother didn't get upset? What kind of comment is that, man? Kid's mother didn't get upset. Oh, is there all of this step family of... All right, whatever.
Well, let's start with Jack. Jack was a curious
Oh,
little boy.
sorry, guys.
He was a happy little go-lucky boy. But I'll tell you, if he didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it. Because when I would get after him to put his shoes on, and when he was running around his bare feet, I'd say, Jack, put your shoes on. I've said this. And he would just stand there and put his arms up, fold his arms up, and go, eh, 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 eh. And that's all I would get out of him. Other than that, he was a curious little boy. That's all he would do all day. When he was outside was sit and turn boards over or rocks over looking for bugs and worms. I had my granddaughter down digging worms for the chickens. And he would come down there and he would grab every worm that he could see. And when it would come time to go feed the chickens, he goes, no, they are my friends.
It's cute.
I'm keeping them. He would play on the swing. He was a happy-go-lucky boy. Lily, she was a Miss...
What, Miss Diva? Another dismissive. How dismissive it is, how she speaks about them. I mean, this is the first that I have never seen analyzed a statement that was so hateful.
Well,
except Chris Proudfoot, of course, but these are very young children.
Well, let's start with Jack. Jack was a curious little boy.
Oh, God,
He
what
was
did
a
I
happy
do?
little go-lucky. Feed the chickens. He goes, no, she did. She'd play with the kitchen. She'd make mud pop. That's what you call it. I guess, as I would say, if that's what's there. And he would grab every worm that he could see.
Sorry, guys.
And when it would come time to go feed the chickens, he goes, no, they are my friends. I'm keeping them. He would play on the swing. He was a happy-go-lucky boy. Lily, she was a Miss Prim girl, as I would say, if that's what you call it. I guess they call her a diva.
Who calls her a diva?
And he would grab every worm that he could see. And when it would come time to go feed the chickens, he goes, no, they are my friends.
Okay, so
I'm keeping them.
I have problems with this part.
He would play on the swing. He was a happy-go-lucky boy. Lily, she was a Miss Prim girl, as I would say, if that's what you call it. I guess they call her a diva or whatever, but to me,
call her
Miss
that.
Prim. Because whenever she would get her clothes dirty, she would go in and change her clothes. I never knew what that girl was going to come out in.
That girl.
She had a kitchen out in the yard. I had a play kitchen. I got a play kitchen for them. Well, for my oldest two. My oldest two grandchildren.
Not for Lily.
And when they weren't here, that's what she did. She'd play with the kitchen. She'd make mud pies. She would pretend she was making hot chocolate or coffee.
So what happened when your grandchildren were there? Did you take Lily, that's theirs, you cannot play with it, and then she intruded? Is that what you're trying to explain to us here? 152.
And he would grab every worm that he could.
Okay, I let this run through, guys, because this is really...
Because whenever she would get her clothes dirty, she would go in and change her clothes. I never knew what that girl was going to come out in.
That girl.
She had a kitchen out in the yard. I had a play kitchen. I got a play kitchen for them. My oldest two grandchildren.
Exactly.
And when they weren't here, that's what she did. She'd play with the kitchen. She'd make mud pies. She would pretend she was making hot chocolate or coffee or tea. If a bug got around her, she would scream, there's a bug. And she would go running in the house because there was a bug. Jack would just say, where's the bug? That's all they ever, from what I observed, they just played on the swings a lot. Her and the oldest grandchild would play on the swing, and they would sit up there and they'd sing. I'd sit there on my doorstep and listen to them sing. They would run around the yard, and that's all I ever heard was Lily saying, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, come here and play, Jackie, come here and play. They were bright little kids. They talked a breeze. Like when someone come into my yard, like if my brother come into my yard, they would come and say hi, and my brother would talk to them, and they would talk to him, and Jack would be there. Oh, look at my worms, or look at my bugs. I remember one day we caught a salamander, him and I, and Daniel said, Jack, you have to let the salamander go, because if not, it'll die. Well, I snuck the salamander out of the bucket, and he looked for that salamander, and he cried because we let his salamander go. Jack was just into bugs. He loved bugs. Lily was into the kitchen, making mud pies.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my two oldest grandchildren would come down, every second weekend they would come. My oldest granddaughter would come in here, and they'd say, Granny, we want some snacks to go up to the little cabin they built, or the little fort they built. They built it themselves out of sticks and brush. And I'd say, there's the fridge. My other two grandchildren, they could have whatever they wanted. My fridge was like one of those doors when you go into a store. It would open and close all the time.
My other two grandchildren could have whatever they want. Jack and Lily couldn't have anything. She makes sure she separates these two groups. Those kids, and she only talks about things that she considers negative about Jack and Lily. So she makes it very, very clear.
Because whenever two oldest grandchildren would come down, every second weekend they would come. My oldest granddaughter would come in here, and they'd say, Granny, we want some snacks to go up.
Okay, people, so I think this is enough, and I normally don't go that long, but, yeah, let me know what's new, people.